You're watching Betting Weekly Fight Life on the Bet Rivers Network.
Welcome to Betting Weekly Fight Life. I'm your host, Kyle Andrew, joined once again by resident fight expert Paul Hughes. Paul, we took the longest break we've ever taken on the show. It was torturous, and now on back-to-back weekends, we have UFC 324 and, of course, now this week, UFC 325. It's like Christmas in January for fight fans, isn't it?
Yeah, welcome everyone. Great, and it's just great how I think this is what we deserve to start the Paramount era with the huge break we had. So 2 back-to-back events. I don't think there's one till March after this, so they've kind of stiffed us with no February one. But yeah, we'll take what we can get with the UFC. But yeah, another card, and I think this main event should be. Last week lived up to expectations and more in terms of the fight, and I think this weekend this one's going to do the same. So
yeah, that main event last week was a pretty great scrap, wasn't it? Really good for the Paramount era and to begin that way. And this week we're going to start right with the title fight, of course, and it is a rematch. Of course, this is Volkanovski-Lopes 2, and this is a fight that a lot of people feel like didn't need to happen, but I'm not sure I care about that part. I'm kind of glad it is happening, and I'm really looking forward to it. Is there a more worthy person? Maybe there isn't, but Diego Lopes is hot for the company right now. Volkanovski's an all-time great. I'm looking forward to this fight. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm massively looking forward to it. I mean, I do think that probably should have been Movsar. Like, looking at it, like I think he's probably the best fighter in the division. Like, I'd probably make him the favorite against anyone, but at the same time, he keeps pulling out of all these fights, and you can only do so much. You can only trust someone so much. So, so shouldn't really be any complaints. Yeah, I mean, Lopez, big star. Probably Volk wants to have a great fight, and Lauren Murphy. I don't know. I don't think the UFC likes him. I think other than that spinning elbow KO, he's a pretty boring fighter, like all around. So maybe they just wanted something a bit. They know it's going to deliver at the start of the Paramount era, and I think this one will. Being a rematch, let's talk about that. I think it favors Lopez actually it being a rematch. I know like that might come as a surprise, but I think the biggest thing he will take from that is that he was the one who was pushing round 4 and 5. And going into the first fight, all the comments were like Lopez's cardio, Volk late's going to be all over him. And then when you watch that, it was like Lopez had all the bigger moments in 4 and 5, and Lopez looked his best in those later rounds. So if he knows from the first round he doesn't have to pace himself as much as he did, and he can take more risks and such. I mean, I scored at 3-2 Volk, and I bet Volk, and I was pretty comfortable on the decision, thinking he had it. But if Lopez is going all out for 5 rounds, I mean, every time Lopez threw a punch, I was like, oh my God, like my heart was sinking and just waiting. I was like, oh my God, Volk's going to get chin. And I think another 25 minutes of that, I'm Lopez on the feet. He's going to 5 rounds going all out, hunting for this KO. And I think he knows that's his probably only path to victory, really. So I don't know. I think this rematch favors Lopez.
I agree with basically everything you said there. The one thing that I think benefits Volkanovski here is this very long layoff between fights. He's had rest. I think the UFC should have a mandatory policy that after fighting Ilia Topuria, you take a year off because you're probably taking at least 3 months off for mandatory medical leave after he chins you. But
Oliveira beat Gamrot, though.
Yeah, exactly, right? So, I mean, but it was less than a year ago that these two fought, and as you say, like it was a pretty close fight, and Lopez has fought since then. And in that fight, he took damage, whatever that means in his world, but he inflicted a ton of damage. He was aggressive. We were both heavy on him in that fight, and he absolutely delivered. And I wonder, given the closeness of that first fight, is his camp and is his corner and is he as a fighter, does he have enough intellect to make the adjustments? Because he certainly has the skill set. He certainly has the power. We know Volkanovski can be chinned. There's no mystery about that anymore. Lopez certainly has the power to do it. I'm with you. I think the matchup favors it. It's not like Volkanovski's a lot older than he was the last time they fought, and he has had a lot of rest since then. But he's not younger either, and he's in that stage of his career. I hate to doubt an all-time great, but my lean is definitely Lopez here as well.
Yeah, the one thing you said about the camp thing, I'm not sure like if you're aware or you were like, because we haven't spoken anything about this. Is something I was going to bring up. Lopez had a switch of camp and he's training privately for this fight, and his
Hmm.
apparently his whole camp is just specific Volkanovski. Like he's took away all the distractions in his normal gym. He's got the people he wants in to help recreate Volk, and like his whole thing is strategizing for this rematch. And like that's got to be taken into account, especially when you're talking about the preparation and stuff
Yes.
and going for this rematch. I think I don't know. I just think this is going to be huge. I think Lopez is on crazy momentum now with that Gene Silva kid fight and that
Yeah.
KO. I think that was huge for him and him mentally as well. And I think obviously the motivation factor. I feel like Lopez is just going to want it more. I know is that you can't really,
Yeah.
as I said, that it's hard to take that into account, but you got to keep it in the back of your mind for something. Where Lopez is still chasing being a champion, where Volk's been this a couple of times now, and he's been through it, and he's at the end of his career. Volk said that he kind of said it to DJ that the next time he loses, he doesn't want to like be straight, like he doesn't want to work his way back. So I think
Right.
unless it's an immediate title shot, he will probably call it quits. Which even having that in your mind, it's probably not the greatest thing
Exactly.
going into a fight, especially with probably arguably the hardest hit in the division, or the most dynamic at sorts. We saw the spinning elbows and everything that he is capable of. I just think over 25 minutes, Lopez is going to find something, and I don't think Volk has a big finishing upside. We'll get into the sort of lines here, and I think if you go into the prop market, that Lopez is only like like a slight like slight favorite on the finish only line. And I feel like Volk, like what we've seen, Lopez's durability is crazy. He's insanely durable, and I just don't think at this stage of his career, Volkanovski is going to be finding these big finishes. Unfortunately, is to say, and I think he could come out and take a grappling approach here and try and look for takedowns as well, instead of trying to stay on the feet with Diego Lopez. So the way I'd be getting with this is somewhere on the finish only market, you can get Lopez at a pretty generous price. Minus 136 for him to be a finish only. When I feel like most of his upside comes from a finish, where
Sure.
Volks is like the plus 190 decision speaks it all. I think that that's pretty big. If you do like Volkanovski, I would just be betting him to win by decision at plus 190. That's the way I'd go. But Lopez on the finish only for me, minus 136. That's a brilliant price.
Yeah, I think that's a really smart and safe bet on this fight, Paul. I'm probably going to take Lopez on the money line personally, but I can't
I'll be
fault.
too.
Yeah, I can't fault your logic on this pick if you want to stay safe. Because to me, I hate to discount an all-time legend, but the path to victory for Volkanovski is to win three of these rounds on the judges' scorecard. That to me is how he would likely do this again. And I don't think he's going to chin Lopez, and I don't think he can win 4 or 5 because Lopez has just too much energy and he's too violent and he has too strong of a chin to go in there and literally just snatch a soul for a round or two. But he's going to be hunting down that finish for sure. He is. He wants to make a statement, and I actually think the UFC would love to have this guy as a champion if they can't have Volk.
Yeah.
He's fun, man. He's a fun guy. I like both of these guys a lot. I have an enormous amount of respect for what Volkanovski's done in his career, but I think perhaps his time is up. And hey, prove us wrong, right? Like there'd be no shame in him going out there. I wouldn't feel bad about losing this bet to Alexander the Great, but I do think this is Lopez's time.
They definitely won't, by the way. They were definitely thinking in their head if Lopez wins, while we wait for the Evloev versus Murphy fight, we're gonna do Silva versus Lopez too in like some big arena in like Brazil or Mexico or something. That'll be 100% the plan if Lopez wins, and I think that fight would sell huge.
Oh,
So
not
that's
only would
probably
it sell me huge because the first fight was amazing. Not just because it was very profitable for me. It was a great fight. Like
yeah.
it was a fantastic scrap to watch. And we discussed this on the show last week, and then we saw it in person. Look at the adjustments that he made after losing to Lopez too. So you have to figure he'll have a much better game plan should he be fortunate enough to get that rematch. Maybe they dump it down in Brazil, right? Who knows? Maybe it's in Mexico, maybe it's in Brazil. It could be a fantastic fight. Let's keep moving through the board now. This one's also pretty interesting. We've got Dan Hooker, fresh off a loss to Arman Sarukian, and Benoit Saint Denis, the God of War himself, as a huge favorite going into this fight. What do you see here, Paul?
I think I said in the Oh no, it was a couple fights ago now. I forgot how active Saint Denis was. He fought Benil Dariush and slept him, and we cashed on him there. And I kind of on the show before that when I took Mauricio Ruffi against him, I kind of apologized after because Benoit Saint Denis is my guy, and betting against him no matter what I thought, and I thought he was just on the downslope, but I've came to realize that he was just the small setback for a huge step forward. And
Yes, yes.
that's what's coming here. I think he's great. And there's that Poirier fight as well. Like if he doesn't have staff, he would have fought for a belt. If he didn't have staff against Poirier, he would have fought for a belt by now.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? When you're thinking things like that, it's like you can make up this minus 360, and then when you look at the grappling edge for Benoit Saint Denis, it's just absurd. Like he ragdolls pretty much everyone he tries to initiate grappling on. And I don't see any way Hooker stops him here. And Hooker's very live to jump guillotine when he's getting pressed up or against the cage or he's jumping in. And I think like that's a recipe for disaster. I think Benoit Saint Denis is going to take him down and he's going to beat him into the mat. And if he doesn't, Hooker's he's gonna be landing on him because Saint Denis, when he walks forward, he hits, get hits.
Yes.
He hits to get hit. Like he doesn't move his head. He just walks in a straight line. He's coming at you and he's gonna try and get that takedown. And most of the time he's gonna get it. But if he doesn't, you're gonna land about 10 clean strikes before he does. I mean, he's just an absolute warrior. And the way I see this fight going is just pure takedown domination, sub or ground and pound by Saint Denis, or Hooker catches him coming in. And I'm not too sure. We haven't spoke about this fight, so I'd be interested to hear what you think as well.
Well, I have a feeling this might look an awful lot like Benoit Saint Denis' last fight, where he showed complete domination over Mauricio Ruffi. I think it could look like fundamentally the same way. Ruffi's a dangerous striker. Hooker's a dangerous striker. Benoit Saint Denis exposed Ruffi, and we're going to talk about that in the next fight on this card, obviously, because Ruffi's the next fight down. I'm so torn on Hooker, man. Like, I love the guy. I love watching the guy fight. I just don't think he's that great. I don't think he's well-rounded enough. I think he's got so much heart and so much go and all of that. But I think everything you just said about BSD is on the money. He had this setback that was, no excuses. If he had staph and the antibiotics and stuff affected his performance, sure, give him that. But that was a setback he learned a lot from. He does walk forward to get hit, but he hits hard, man. And he's going to, I think he's going to pull Hooker to the ground. And I think he's going to do exactly what you said he's going to do. I think this is his moment. And I just really feel as though he's on the path that we thought he was going to be on and then didn't think he was going to be on. And now he's back on. I think he's on the path to eventually hosting or having a title shot. And I think this is one of the nights where he solidifies another win over great competition. And that's something that like he's Ruffi, Dariush, like the Dariush thing was like, okay, that fight didn't really happen. You know what I mean? That was one of the fastest fights ever. And so he's fresh. He's ready to go after absolutely dummying Ruffi last September. So this is his third fight inside of 6 months, but he's taken little damage since that first round against Ruffi, right? And he should be fresh and good to go. So
he barely took damage against Ruffi as well. Like
that's right, because he his game plan. I think he's coming up with the exact same game plan here, and I think it's also the correct game plan here. I don't think Hooker is on his level, but we're gonna find out Saturday night.
To tell you what, Kyle, the thing that's being overlooked here is because Benoit Saint Denis, I said he's a god of war. He's a veteran in France. People don't realize that he's only I think he's just turned 30. Yeah. He looks like he's been through everything, and that's probably because those eyes have seen things that we do not want to see in our lifetime. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
But he's only been training MMA for 6 years.
Yeah. He turned 30 just over a month ago. It's crazy.
He's getting better every single fight. Like if you've been training for 6 years, you know what I mean? Like you're 30 years old, you're coming into your athletic prime, and as I said, 6 years, you're getting better every single fight. And I think we are seeing these improvements, and more so on the Ruffi fight, and because we didn't really see much of the Dariush fight, but it looked like he was gonna, he kept like going on that upwards trajectory. But
yeah,
I don't know. I think he's just getting better and better. at this weight class against somebody he has a huge grappling edge against. I don't know. I like him to get the finish, but Kyle, as I said, the finish is -148. I found a more creative way to get with just the finish in this fight. The fight not to start round 3 was at -110. I think that how much of Benoit Saint Denis' finish upside comes in round 3, and then also you're getting hooker finish if he catches Benoit Saint Denis with some shot or a big knee, or he locks up that guillotine with somehow or anything. I feel like you have a lot of coverage for the fight not to start round 3, and most of Benoit Saint Denis has he got a finish in round 3 in his career?
Let me quickly look.
No, he doesn't.
I've
He does in his second ever pro fight, but everything other than that, it's been
round 1 or 2.
All of his 15 other fights have been in round 1 or 2. So,
and also, the loss to Poirier was in round 2. Moicano, eye injury stoppage round 2. Like, I know those things are circumstantial, but data's data, right? And as a sports bettor, sometimes you have to just lean into that. I think that's a great pick. It's very tough to find the finish at -148. That's too steep a price for me to pay, I think. I don't think I love it. Sub at 143, he might also punch him out. It's like it's tough to tease into that, but I love that pick actually. You got near even odds on that. And you go with the data. Dan Hooker doesn't go out there looking for decisions. Dan Hooker is who he is, and I think that's a fantastic pick. So let's move on to this next fight. This is the one we talked about quite a bit, and we were pretty torn on what we think is going to happen here. Rafael Fiziev and Mauricio Ruffi. Fiziev, am I saying that right? Fiziev?
Yeah, Fiziev.
Yeah, fine. Mauricio Ruffi. This is interesting because to me, what this comes down to is, has Ruffi improved his game? Because he has some good tools, but BSD exposed him as certainly missing some.
Yeah, I kind of let the hype get into me on the Benoit Saint Denis fight when I bet Ruffi. It's probably one of the worst mistakes of my entire life, looking back. But no, but being seriously, I think this is a disrespectful line. When I was talking to you about the Fiziev stuff, like Fiziev was -140, -130, and now the Steams came in to make a receipt -124. I just don't know how you get there. I mean, I think all of his upsides pretty much like a KO. Like I don't see him. He's not going to be winning minutes against Fiziev. Like how? Fiziev's a much better. Like, I don't think people realize Fiziev's probably the best Muay Thai artist in the UFC, or maybe like ever in the UFC. Like,
he cancels out Ruffi's striking.
His leg kicks are insane. He's rapid. He's fast. He has the grappling upside out of them too. We've seen him mix up the grappling in his last few fights. I don't know, man. I just don't know how you get to -124 on Ruffi, and if you're not taking the KO plus 290, I think that's his best one. Ruffi also, I mean, Fiziev doesn't have the best cardio. You see him slow down then around 3. Ruffi also gasses. Ruffi was losing to James Lontop before. Do you know what I mean? Like, Ruffi drops rounds and then lands a KO. Like, who else did he drop a KO against? Was it?
Here's what it comes down to for me in this one. Ruffi hasn't beaten anyone. Like if you look at his page, he lost to BSD, and he was killed by BSD. That fight was never in doubt. It wasn't even competitive. So he got that incredible spinning heel kick on King Green, fine, but that's a one-hit wonder, right? Like that's just a well-landed shot. You're not going to do that to Fiziev, that guy. He's fighting Saturday. You're not going to do that to him. And then you look at the rest of the. Congratulations on the flying knee and punches win against Jamie Malarkey. Go to Fiziev. Yeah, okay. He just beat Ignacio Bahamondes by a decision. Fine. He lost 3 before that, but look at who he lost them to. 2 decision losses to the current interim champion, Gaethje. He had a leg injury against Gamrot.
He was looking really good in that fight too.
Exactly. So it's like, what?
He keep going down, Kyle. He beat Rafael Dos Anjos. He's beat Renato Moicano. He's beat Mark He's
like, I don't understand where what Ruffi's done other than the hype machine. Like, did the odds makers not watch the BSD fight? I'm not saying he can't win this fight. I just don't know where this number comes from. I really honestly don't, Paul.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people I know, like, respecting the game, they have bet Ruffi at like +150, which I think, you know what, you're betting him at +150. That's fair enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he's -124 now, and this is just getting out of hand. As I said, one of the best Muay Thai fighters I've ever seen, and Rafael Fiziev in MMA, sorry, that is. And he's going to bring in, and he's going to be winning the minutes on the feet. I generally
Yeah.
think like if this goes to decision, like his Fiziev wins like 70% of the time. Like it's like maybe a bit less, but like it's crazy. I think Fiziev's he's gonna put on a clinic, yeah, maybe until he gets chinned. But again, I think he won the first Gaethje fight. I think that was a crazy robbery, and then the second fight, he was coming off a year and a half layoff because he tore his ACL.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, he started slow, and then Bahamondes, he showed levels. He mixed up the grappling in there, and I think all the grappling upsides here for Fiziev. I can't get to him being a dog here. I think at worst he's like 55%. So yeah, I'm taking Fiziev here pretty confidently.
Yeah, then that's a great pick to me because I'm just looking at the Tapology page right now too. He hasn't been finished since 2019, and spinning back kick and punches. So to me, this is another one of those ones where we were talking about it on the via messaging a couple days ago, and we were both on the fence. But the more I looked at it, I landed in the same spot here. Just take that money line. Could Roofy win? Absolutely, he can. But at minus 124, I don't know how they got there. People that got him at plus 150, fantastic. That's a great number. But this to me that's a pretty straightforward pick on this one too. Roofy's got a lot to prove, and if he loses this one, he's kind of out of the conversation now. He needs to win it to get back into the conversation. I know that's kind of a cliche thing to say, but it's especially true in this case for him because of how much of that hype was derailed by the absolute beating he took to BSD. That fight was not close, and I just have a tough time forgetting it. Okay, so the guys that are carrying the weight on this card, literally, because we've got featherweight, lightweight, and one heavyweight fight. Hometown boy Tai Tuivasa versus Taliesin Teixeira. Tuivasa with the huge underdog line on this one. Is that justified in your mind?
I'm happy to be wrong, but I think Taliesin Teixeira is like pretty poor. Like he's like not great. Like apparently there's like stories of him in the gym being like some absolute monster. I heard that, but like I haven't seen anything. Like he grappled and got subs over a few really bad fighters on the regional scene, and then got to the UFC, got beat Justin Taffa, who everyone beats, and then got slapped by Derek Lewis. I mean, this is crazy. I mean, I'm remembering this right. He's lost. First of all, credit him. He's lost an insane amount of weight, like to get to this point.
Sure.
Like he's lost a crazy amount of weight. But then when you're looking, his losses, I know we're saying this again, but his losses are against the best of the best. He hurt and dropped Cyril Gahn. I remember that. I was watching that. I was like, what's going on? The Pavlovich fight, probably the hardest hit in the division. It was kind of a slugfest. Pavlovich finished him. Then Alexander Volkov, arguably second best fighter in the division. What else are you going to say? The Ty Borai, he got choked out. And then Rosenstrike, he lost a split. It was definitely not a split, but he lost to when in the UFC, like top 5, top 6 competition. Teixeira, I think he just looks aesthetically pleasing. Honestly, I think that's half of his appeal. That's generally half of his appeal. I think Ty at plus 240 in a heavyweight fight where they're going to come out and scrap. I mean, how wrong can you be? Unless he's like completely finished and he's just done too fat, too much. Like, he's destroyed his body by whatever he's doing outside of camp. Like, but he's lost a crazy amount of weight to get here. He was like 350 pounds. You know what I mean? Like he's like something like crazy. Like he's back. He's in shape. He's been talking the talk when you've been hearing him talk with Volk and stuff. And he seems like he's getting back to what he once was, and he believes he can go on another run. But I'm just not sold on Teixeira at all. I think plus 330 on maybe one of the hardest, if not probably like top 3 hardest hitter in the entire division against someone who just got slept similarly by Derek Lewis in the last fight. I think Tuivasa's going to have chances to land, and if he does, I think he's going to knock him out. So I'm not making him a favorite or anything because I think Taliesin could he does have obviously upside. Like Ty's not in the best shape.
Sure.
Like you probably can.
He's lost the pile in a row and all of that.
Exactly. Yeah. Like Taliesin has takedown upside, but it's just strictly numbers here. So I've kind of balanced it out though, Kyle. I like Tai Tuivasa to win by KO. That was plus 330. And I've also did fight not to start round 2 at minus 125. And we're going with half a unit on each. So we've got half a unit at Tai to win by KO, plus 330, and half a unit for the fight not to start round 2 at minus 125.
I'm not too sure why the second one is not coming up there. But I'm glad you said it because Yeah, sorry, Paul. The second one's not
That's okay.
popping up there. It's okay, but you said it. I can't disagree with anything you're saying here. I've seen nothing from Teixeira that gives him that number. I can't find a bet on him that I would reasonably go with. Tuivasa can knock this guy out with one punch. If he does not win this fight, this is probably his last paycheck from the UFC. Let's be pretty honest about that.
Yeah.
Or, he's brought back for another Australian card down the road or something like that because the fans like him and stuff. But he probably knows. You do say, and you've seen him look a little bit more focused here. If he's put that all together, he might want to go out there and put on a performance because he's fighting for his job at this point. It's the only bet I would be able to find. Either of the two you just said, the one that we have on screen and the one we don't. Both smart plays in my mind. I can't disagree with you. And let's pray for a KO here. That's just something I'd love to see it. The crowd's going to need it as far as I'm concerned on Australia Saturday night.
He just dropped and hurt Cyril Gane in a title eliminator contest a couple of years ago.
Right.
Let's not forget about that, man.
Yeah, okay. So let's move on to the last fight of the main, or the first fight of the main card. Killen Salkild. Killen Salkild? That's pretty close? Quillen Salkild? I have trouble with that one. There's just there should be a limit on L's.
Too many I's and L's.
Too many I's and L's, yeah. Versus Jamie Malarkey. And we talked about this one too, and I believe the correct person is favored, but I think that number is kind of nuts.
Yeah, it's kind of saying like Jamie Larkey could just be kind of done, and I do think Quillen Salkild's really good. I think he's going to be like a good ranked lightweight at worst. So yeah, I just think he's not a big KO artist. Which, I mean, if you've only watched his last couple of fights, you'd be like, what are you on about? But he's not. Like, if you go back on his regional scene, he's like a grappler first. Like his wrestling was really good, and that was the reason he was winning a lot of these fights. And obviously he's landed like 2 big KOs with Anshul Jubilee and Nasrat Haqparast, which, I think Jubilee's just not UFC level, and Haqparast, he probably landed one of the best head kicks we've ever seen. It was unbelievable.
A singular moment though, and it's just like with Rufy. You can only place so much on that. Guy's hands down, you land a head kick and he's out cold, but that does not mean you're going to do that again, right? He'll probably never do that again.
I'd be willing to play that Malarkey can survive a round. Let me pull up that price really quick. But I was doing that, I'd be looking at taking the overs, getting with Malarkey surviving a round for some way. I just think it's just been blown out of proportion.
Yes.
So to reach round 2 is -137. I don't think that's crazy. I mean, Salkild, unless he's landing the perfect strike, Malarkey's kind of live to survive for a few minutes as well before he gets finished.
Right.
Marufi was like a flying knee at the end of the round, and he's got some tangibles to stay alive. He's a decent level fighter, but yeah, I'm just not sold on Salkild being this huge finisher. So I wouldn't be touching it. -375 for a decision's crazy. But if I was going to take something in the finish way, I think the KO to sub's pretty wide. I'd be looking at him taking sub +275 if I'm getting with Salkild. But yeah, maybe Salkild 2-3 submission, something like that. But the lines are just near unplayable.
Yeah, that's so just a good way to start the crowd. I think the favorite will win. I think it'll keep the Aussies hype to start the card, because I think they're going to start this card in a good mood. I don't think they're going to end it in a great one. I said that to you already, but I agree. I just can't find anything with a line that wide. And listen, if he goes out and starches Malarkey in 2 minutes or 3 minutes, happy to be wrong about that, and happy to watch his progression through the UFC, because he seems to be one of those good people in the sport. He seems like he has a lot of tools, and hopefully they continue to improve. But like yourself, Paul, nothing on the board here for me, and pizza money maybe as they're walking out. But who knows if we'll actually see a walkout, because Paramount Plus just shows ads during those now. Anyways, it's not the most wonderful setup. Hopefully they can revise that in time. Paul, before we get going here for the day, do you want to rehash all of your picks on UFC 25 Saturday night?
Yeah, so the main event, we have Lopez, finish only market. So if it goes to decision, you get your money back. It's -136. You have fight to not start round 3, -110 in the Dan Hooker BSD fight. We have Rafael Fiziev money line +100 And then we have half a unit split on fight not to start round 2 at -125 and Tai Tuivasa via KO at +330. So half a U on both of those.
Perfect. Those all I'm pretty much in agreement with all of them. I think that Tuivasa fight's interesting. He's a good character in the UFC. I hope he keeps his job. A loss won't affect Teixeira too much. I don't see him with any sort of title in his future, or even hinting at that, unless he gets a lot better. So, Paul, any other final thoughts before UFC 325 Saturday night?
No, again, we have a bit of a long layoff before 326. I think that's Volkanovski. That's Holloway Oliveira, so that should be fun.
Yeah, it will be fun.
But that's just a fight filled with fun fights. So, yeah, till next time we'll be back, unless there's a big event that we feel the need to cover. But yeah, we'll speak more then.
All right, Paul, thank you very much. Thanks for everyone at home watching Betting Weekly Fight Life here on the Bet Rivers Network. We appreciate all of you. Good luck with your bets on Saturday night, and please enjoy the fights.
Thanks for watching Betting Weekly Fight Life on the Bet Rivers Network.